Hey guys, remember to like, comment, and subscribe to get a great discussion on gaming and all that surrounded. Now, on to today's topic. So I usually don't do videos on technology such as hardware, like that's outside of video games. So that could be phones, tablets, TVs, computers, yada yada yada, all that junk. But today's a bit different because I may not be a Apple fanboy per se, but technology like this stuff kind of interests me anyway. So I'm looking through my news feed, and I'm seeing like an article on the iPad Pro, and I actually forgot about it this year. I'm just like I remember seeing the keynote and whatnot, but I forgot about it. So I see the article and it's talking about it bending. I'm just like, it's bending. Jesus, again? So what interests me about this is that this is like the third time Apple has had a product that is bending or malfunctioning or is some kind of issue that is hardware based. That's not software. I remember they had a glitch or something like that with the iPhone 7, right? There was like there was a weird iOS problem. So this is another hardware issue here, and I remember the iPhone 6, I think that one had the weird bending thing. I definitely know of the what was it, the MacBook. That's it, the MacBook Pro, and that one actually I'm incorrect. That one was a software problem and a bit of a hardware problem because it kept throttling. Correct, there was the actual computers would just throttle, and after being on for too long or it was heating, it couldn't handle the amount of heat that it was producing. So there's a whole thing on, I believe his name was the YouTuber David something, I forgot his name, but he had this whole thing. He put the computer in the refrigerator and whatnot. So Apple has had a history of messing up with their hardware, and the article goes on how some people are getting their iPads bent like right out of the box, like they're sent to them, and it's like just that way. And sometimes, what they're saying here is that some of them, it could be a timeline issue. So it's like after 2 weeks of using it and whatnot, there will be bending and whatnot. And Apple, they say that this is normal. Oddly enough, they say that bending, your actual hardware bending, is normal because of the manufacturing process. I think it's something to do with the way that they manufacture or engineered the cooling system. But I think that's ridiculous, right? I mean, it's gotta be. That's to have a product that costs I think it's about $1,200 or so. I think it's $799, I think, somewhere for the base, like this, the bare bones base model, and about $1,800 for all the bells and whistles. Like, that's a lot of money. I really, like, no product you should buy, you have, like, you shouldn't buy a product and feel like maybe it'll come out broken. Not at that price. You know what I'm saying? I find that absolutely ridiculous. So I don't know. I mean, in the Verge article, they were just like, you can ask for to return it, and them give you a new one and whatnot. That's all fine and dandy. I have a problem with buying a product and the company themselves, like, it's bad enough it's already bending and whatnot, but the company themselves is saying that that's normal. That's just ridiculous to me. Is this what happens when you become a $1 trillion company? This just baffles my mind that they're that cocky and that arrogant that they're going to tell their customers that that's a normal feature of the phone. I don't know what else to say. I still expect this thing to sell well, of course. I mean, they always do, but I'm not too sure. Of course, I'm only focusing on the American population here when it comes to Apple. I don't know when this goes on sale worldwide, but as you know, as us American people, we should expect more from these companies that are, $1 trillion companies. We should expect much more from them. Like I expect an off-brand, no-name company. Like if I buy something from a no-name off-brand company, I expect that to be like kind of fucked up. I expect that to be a mess. That's a gamble me getting it, and it's probably not going to work right. Even if it did work right, it's not going to work how it's supposed to. But it's not a big name company like Apple or something, or any other big boys out there. It's not supposed to be. I think we should expect more from them. And maybe this speaks to more towards what us as Americans are. We're willing to accept. To me, buying a phone, like a phone or iPad, because these things are more so. I recognize that these are Apple products have a quality to them. Like I understand that. I do own an Apple product, but I don't see the point in owning all of them. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like it works in a sense that it has that ecosystem, but I feel like it's inconvenient to have all of them. To get all that just to get that ecosystem, because it's not. From my understanding, it sounds like it's worth it, but it doesn't, in practical terms, seem like it from my perspective anyway. Because I kind of want that freedom of buying whatever I want, right? Like if this year I want like an iPhone XR or 10X, Jesus, there's so many. If I want one of those, and then next year I want a Galaxy phone or any of the different phones, I think it's they kind of trap you into their own ecosystem, and I hate that feeling of being trapped, right? Also, Apple's whole, their bloated price per performance. Jesus, can't talk. Doesn't really add up to other companies, and how you can build your own PC and really get a better price for it. And I just the more I think about it, the more you look at it, the less sense it makes to really invest heavily into Apple products. But then again, who am I to really criticize? I mean, I like things that are quality, and I know for sure Apple products are quality products. So if you want something that'll last you a couple years, which sometimes it seems like it's not really meant to last that long, but if you want something to last like a good 2 or 3 years and not really feel the need to upgrade, I kind of get that. But in terms of the whole thing altogether, I think it's kind of asking much. I think I'm going to leave it at that for this whole thing with the iPad. I think I talked long enough. But, I guess, if anyone's out there, and they want to share their opinion, let me know. I mean, if I find this fascinating that this is just about the third time or so. I mean, I don't keep track of how many controversies or whatnot, 'cause it feels like it happens all the time. But something like this is pretty big, in my opinion. I mean, as a consumer, I expect a lot more from the manufacturer, the producer here, the company. If I'm paying $1,800, because I'm a big nerd, I want to have all of the bells and whistles and whatnot. If they're gonna charge me for all that money, almost $2,000, I better not get that product bent, And for them to claim that that's normal, that's just absolutely ridiculous, and frankly unnecessary. So let me guys know what you think. This is interesting coming from Apple. But, in my personal opinion, I don't really see anything coming out of this. I think this is going to be forgotten news relatively soon. But thank you guys for listening. I'll see you next time. Bye.